Hey vinyl community, how's everyone doing? So following the video I just posted today with the personal message to the VC, I thought it'd be really great for me to start doing some more videos that focus on reviewing particular albums rather than just showing things, trying to expand that. So the record I want to talk about, it's a very interesting one. It's an artist I discovered for the first time. Her name is Annette Peacock, and the album is called Extremes. I was turned on right away by this cover. I'm guessing you guys probably would be too. She looks intriguing. Sort of witch-like, but intriguing. Cool background. It's like purple outside world on the back with a little floor tile on the bottom showing it opening up. Now, Annette Peacock has a very interesting background. I'm guessing she grew up in London because this record was recorded in Essex. The other reason why I think I know this is she probably didn't grow up in the U.S. because the original pressing of this record was on Aura Records, and this is actually on a U.S. pressing of a label called Tomato Records. So because this was later pressed on the U.S. label, and because this was recorded there, I pretty much gathered info that I don't think that she was originally a part of America and that she grew up in Europe. Now, I have some notes here I was taking in the book I told you about just to give you some more info until I get better at starting remembering this stuff. She married well, first of all, she started recording, to give you some background on her, she started composing her own stuff when she was at age 4, so she was really smart at a young age. She married a gentleman named Gary Peacock, who was a bass player. Peacock worked with guys like Miles Davis, most recently was Keith Jarrett back then. He worked with Herbie Hancock. So who she married, the bass player, had a very, very, probably had a big influence on her musically, from what I would assume. Now, as well as that, what I also thought was very, very interesting was two things. First of all, she was a very close associate of Timothy Leary. So everyone who knows, in case you don't know who Timothy Leary is the guy that was the professor at Harvard that was experimenting a lot with psychedelic drugs like LSD and whatnot, and went through a lot of issues with the police and the government and everything after it was illegal. So that's pretty interesting. Also, she was the first, seemed to be one of the first from what I've read up on, is that she had, the guy Moog, the guy who created the Moog synthesizer, they got a prototype for one of the Moog synthesizers, and she sort of invented the way of using the output to be able to use a synthesizer on her voice for vocal effects, which is really cool. So when they said invented, I mean, it wasn't Wikipedia, and I did look it up a little bit elsewhere, but it seemed like she had some really good profound experience with the Moog and affecting her voice on it, which is really cool. I think her first record was called I'm the One. It came out in '72, and Wire magazine actually listed it as one of the 100 albums that sort of shook the world, and supposedly it's all over the place. I haven't listened to it yet. Now, Extremes is her second record that came out, and it was a total of 6 years between the first and the second. Supposedly it's a very big difference from the first one. Now, I will go ahead and say this right here. This album is very, very, it's intriguing. The sides are kind of different, so I want to explain them separately. What you're hearing right now is the opening song right from the get-go on side 1. The song title is called My Mama Never Taught Me How to Cook, and it's just really a great experiment with her voice and how she can sing. When you hear the opening line, my mama never taught me how to cook and that's why I'm skinny, right away you're like, this lady has something, and it's pretty intriguing and keeps you interested. Now, if you hear right here in the background, there's a lot of type of this guitar work. A lot of really cool, jazzy, bluesy guitar noodling. Really cool stuff. I realized after listening to it a second time that it's very profound through the entire record. So if you like that kind of guitar song, it's great. There are some parts that have some trombone type of instruments, saxophones, some brass instruments, but it's not too profound and noticeable in the record as a whole. Now, this next song, the second track, Real and Defined Androgens, it's probably my favorite song on the record. It's almost an 11-minute track. It's a very, basically the way I described it when I was talking about it, it's just an 11-minute song lovemaking session. It has a very deep bass line. It's an 11-minute song, just goes on with her just talking and speaking. You know, androgen is the most popular androgen is testosterone. So I mean, the first side of the record is very sexually driven, very raunchy. Not in the way she says it, but just her attitude, and it's just, she's very, very sensuous on the first side of the record, and the second track is basically just a climactic song from beginning to end. It just moves up, 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 up. So that's how I viewed it. And then the third track on side 1, Dear Bella, is kind of bluesy but short and sort of disappears out of nowhere. It just sort of fades out real quickly, so it seemed a little bit off to me. Now, the stuff you're hearing now is side 1. Like I said, it has more of that sensuous, groovy, hard rockin' type of side. Now, side 2, which has 4 tracks, is a whole other ball game. I sort of viewed, if side 1 is the more raw, sexually driven, more dirty, sexually driven side. Side 2 is the very smooth, seductive, romantically, sexually driven side. It's a lot more on the jazz side. My favorite track on the second side is probably the opening song called This Feel Within. Very, very nice, smooth jazz, very loungy. Now, another cool thing is that there's actually a track on side 2 called Don't Be Cruel. And Don't Be Cruel, which maybe guys more like Memphis Vinyl Jim would probably know, and other people who are more into Elvis, Don't Be Cruel is actually an Elvis song. So she covers it. It's the only song on the record out of the 8 tracks that is not actually a original composition by her. Now, I'm not familiar with the Elvis song, but it seems to me, by hearing how much I enjoyed listening to her version of it, it probably does it pretty good justice. So if you like Elvis and you know that song Don't Be Cruel, and you haven't heard the song by Annette Peacock, I would recommend checking it out. Just from a perspective of someone who doesn't know the Elvis version, it's good on its own. It can stand on its 2 feet. So, you know, overall, basically to close it out, you know, just looking over the notes I had since I started using that book to sort of take notes, like I said, on like when I'm listening to a record for the first time. I feel like this is a record that, with more listens, would be a really great record to go back to and really enjoy it. I'm interested to hear her first record that supposedly blew away a lot of people, and how this one was a big difference. So I'm excited to see what that first record called I'm the One is, what that's all about. Now, like I said, side 1, it's more like the hard rock and driven side. So if you like that type of style where it's, you know, a little bit of a dirty, raunchy, sexually driven jazz blues sound, that's going to be great for you. Now, it's a really great record because you got that. And then when you flip the side, you get more of a relaxed, soothing, romantically jazz side that's done by both by the same musicians. So you can't really complain. Musically, this track right here, track 2, with that piano, the guitar, crying guitar riffs that you hear throughout the record, that's my type of favorite sound on the record. It's also one of the best songs on the record, where she's able to really display her singing and what she's capable of. All in all, she's a great artist. It's just bluesy, jazz influenced, rocky, avant-garde. So, I mean, she's all over the map. You know, this is one of the records that I got at a good price, but I mean, even so, in a store like Manifest Records in Charlotte, where some stuff can be real cheap, I still paid $10 for it, but it was a half-off sale, and I was really intrigued by the record, and it did disappoint. So everyone should check this out. It's on either Aura Records originally, or Tomato Records is the U.S. pressing. It's from 1978, called Extremes, and I think you'd really enjoy it. So if you spot this, pick it up and go for it. Let me know what you guys think. Alright, till next time. Take care, guys.